All right, guys, welcome to Third Phase of Moon. Just wanted to make sure the technical issues are all worked out. How am I coming in? Do we got good sound? Give us a big thumbs up. We're live right here at Third Phase of Moon from the Hollywood Hills. We've got some special guests. It's my pleasure to bring them up in just a bit, but we want to get the audience coming in from around the world. You know, we do a lot of premieres, but sometimes we just want to go live. And again, a special person showed up today, Micheal Schratt, aerospace historian. He's been doing a lot of work with regards to research that hasn't been seen by the public for over 40 years. And we're going to go get into that in this live episode tonight. But we want to make sure that we're coming in loud and clear. How's my audio? Everybody give me a thumbs up. And Brent's on the camera. We're going to be taking questions from the public. And it's going to be an exciting episode. Again, broadcasting from the Hollywood Hills. And like I said, here, take a look at this. Micheal has brought over these binders. It weighs probably about 40 pounds, and it has hundreds and hundreds of documents. And these documents, like I said, haven't been seen for over 30 years. He's been obtaining this information from New Mexico, from a private collection that was sealed shut for, I think is in the 1988. They started in the 50s. And recently, Michael's been doing boots on the ground work, cracking open the case. And let me tell you, the plethora of information coming in from this is just mind-blowing. These files, there's so much information, and we're excited to share it with you. Again, good quality of the sound. Everybody's looking good. We also have an artist, Rudy Gardea. He's come and visit us today, and he's going to share some of his sketches from these historical archives where these eyewitnesses actually, they report their sightings with their little doodle sketches. Rudy comes in and puts it in a way we could comprehend of what we're looking at. And again, could you imagine seeing this with your own eyes? These reports, again, have not been seen for over 30, maybe 40 years. The vault has been unlocked, and Micheal Schratt, the boots on the ground person, I don't know anybody better that could pull it off like Micheal Schratt. So we're gonna go check out Micheal Schratt in just a bit. We're gonna make our way outside. Micheal is here with Rudy Gardea, and let me tell you, exciting times right now. And let's bring in Micheal. Hey, Micheal.
Hey. Blake, good to see you.
Good to see you,
okay.
Man. It's a little bit. I know you've been in Mexico. How long have you been in
I've been
New
there
Mexico
about
for?
2 months now.
2 months.
Yep.
You know, immediately you brought together some information. David Adair, he's a controversial figure.
Right.
He's claimed that he's been in Area 51, inside, deep within the subterranean attributes of the infamous base. And we're going to get a look on the inside. We're going to go over some recent files that you've uncovered that haven't been seen for about 40 years.
Correct.
Tell me a little bit about what's going on in New Mexico. What have you been doing over there?
Okay, I've been spending the last 2 months scanning, digging, searching, going through the APRO files, which is the Aerial Phenomenon Research Organization. Started in 1952. They ceased operations late 1988, and they literally have probably 50,000 cases that have been sealed up and locked since 1988. And so this is the first time that we're actually getting a good view of what these cases look like.
You know, it's crazy because what I've been hearing, what Michael's been saying, there's over 50,000 files you've already gone through over the past couple months over there. Kind of the tip of the iceberg. He says that he could be there every day for the next, I don't know, decade.
Until the next ice age.
Until the next ice age.
Because we're getting collections from all around the world on a weekly basis, like 110 bank boxes this week and another 100 bank. I can't keep up with the amount of information. But we're going to get there. We're going to get there.
And this whole archive, it's open to the public. I guess you need special access. You got to go through some protocol. You have a special access badge that gives you the inside to this basic holy grail, the vault of ufology.
Well, I don't have a special access badge, but I have been given permission to access the files. But it is available to the public. It's free of charge, and it's by appointment only.
All right, so we just wanted to make sure and let everybody know, welcome to Third Phase Moon. We're broadcasting live from the Hollywood Hills. Give us a big thumbs up if you're joining us. And again, Micheal just showed up early this morning. We've been going over a lot of things. We're actually working on a documentary with regards to some of this new information, but this one kind of caught my eye. David Adair, again, a controversial figure in the field. We've spoken with him, and we put up an interview, and he states what's going on underneath Area 51. What you see on the top is just the tip of the iceberg, and we're going to get a little breakdown, and also we're going to go over some of the APRO files that
Correct.
has recently come into light. Like I said, we're not underwhelming. We want to make sure that everybody understands that some of these things that you're about to hear today, it's the first time that anybody has ever laid their eyes or heard any kind of these testimonies from what eyewitnesses from police, lawyers, doctors,
Correct.
military. It goes on and on. So it's quite incredible. So let's start it off. David Adair, well, how did he get access to Area 51? First off,
just as a backup, as you just said earlier, I'm skeptical about this case too. I know it's a very controversial case, and the goal here is just to get something down on paper visually so people can see what he was talking about. You know, I have some very serious reservations. Even I'm skeptical, and I'm going to explain why that's the case.
well, I think by doing this, that obviously people work at Area 51. We've spoken to people that have apparently worked within the facility. Maybe they could look at some of these sketches, some of these artistic representations, and maybe somebody else could come forward and corroborate some of this evidence that we're about to share with everybody on this live episode inside Area 51 like nobody's ever seen. So let's get to it. David Adair's mission. What was he doing there in the first place? Did he give a reason? Did he have a job there?
Okay, the date is 1971, and David had launched a fusion containment engine. He was brought to Area 51, and the next thing, this is 1971, the next thing that happened is that a black DC-9 pulled up and landed onto the runway and taxied up onto the tarmac. And his first thought was, Playboy, Hugh Hefner, what's this DC-9 doing? Well, it wasn't Hugh Hefner. It was Arthur Rudolph, German rocket scientist, but he had a black jet as well. So this is scene one that we want to show everyone here. This is Rudy's drawing. Yep. Now, what happened next is there was a people mover that came out.
Let's see this 3D rendering.
This is my 3D rendition based on Rudy's drawing. And this people mover was very odd looking. It looked like a cross between a Disney World tram that picks you up in the parking lot at Disney World and an F-86 Saberjet. It had a huge air intake on the front of it. Very strange looking craft. So David Adair gets on this people mover and they move into a large hangar complex. That's scene number 2 here. So you've got the people mover, you've got the F-86 air intake. This was a massive hangar. The whole bottom floor, according to David Adair, once the people mover stopped, there were these stanchions that came up. There was a chain link fence connecting these poles. On the top of these poles, there was a red siren that was going around, lighting the whole area, like a proximity indicator that you're not supposed to cross that. I want to go to our full color rendering. This is what I came up with here to give you an idea of what that looks like. So everybody's on the people mover. These stanchions come up. The alarms go off. And then guess what happened next, Blake? Guess what happened next?
Did the floor drop beneath them? Or?
The entire concrete hangar floor drops down. We're talking about probably thousands of tons here in weight.
The hydraulic system.
The hydraulic system was just massive. So I'm going to go to our next scene here.
So what is this, an intake to some kind of engine, obviously?
I don't know for sure.
Conventional?
I don't know for sure.
But you got to move people. And they're not operating on the top of Area 51. It's too hot out there in the desert. So, and you know, there's a lot of things going on. It's the most top secret. It's not so top secret anymore, but obviously I think they should allow us inside Area 51, don't you think?
Well, again, we did pay for a lot of this with our tax dollars,
That's right.
so the government is a temporary custodian of these assets.
So they're going down now to a subterranean level below Area 51.
I want to talk about Rudy's drawing here. Now, at a minimum diameter of 12 feet in diameter, we're talking about massive worm screws as this whole floor drops down. This section here, this is just looking up at the top floor where the hangar is. We're looking at the section where the whole floor is dropping down. You've got these massive worm gears. So just the mechanical hydraulics alone is just incredible.
Yeah, this is like a megalithic,
Yes,
but modern day
that's right.
megalithic.
That's right.
It almost reminds me of the theory of what's going on underneath the pyramids right now. 2 miles below, you have these cylindrical staircases, they call it. But look at this color rendition, the people mover right there underneath Area 51. So where are they heading? What's
He didn't know where they were heading. He didn't even really know what the whole purpose of this was. He found out later. That's what we're going to talk about. So
I remember there was one time we spoke with David Adair, and he said that the underground system of Area 51 is so large that they have to take in factor the curvature of the Earth. And there's ambient light down there, and they don't know where the light source is coming from. They're not like light bulbs, but they have light, and it's just massive. So what are we looking at?
okay, so once the people mover gets to the bottom floor, it moves forward down a very long corridor, just exactly what you talked about. There were hangar bays there, and he got a good look inside one of these hangar bays. Now, according to David Adair, what he saw, number one, was the North American Aviation XB-70. Okay, that's this craft right here. This is a triple-sonic bomber that was canceled. One of the vehicles crashed near Barstow, California. The other one went to the Air Force Museum in Dayton, Ohio. Now, what you're looking at here on the bottom and right, he said there were teardrop-shaped UFOs that had a crew compartment. They had landing gear legs with wheels at a 45-degree angle, and then there was like canards up front. This large one was absolutely massive. There were 3 of those there. Now, here's where I am skeptical about this whole story, because he said this happened in 1971. The XB-70 that went to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, the Air Force Museum, went there back in 1969. The other one crashed. They never built a third one. So how did he see this in 1971 when the only survivor arrived in 1969 and never left the Air Force Museum?
Well, let's take a look at this color one. And you know what's interesting to me? Look how the size of this thing. And in my proximity, what I'm looking at here, it really reminds me of Elon Musk's SpaceX project. This looks like the Starship, the stainless steel aspects to it. No, it almost looks like a rocket to me. You think that they're using anti-grav?
Well, this absolutely was an anti-grav.
Is anti-grav?
Yeah,
It does look like the Elon Musk SpaceX, but maybe Elon Musk kind of took the design.
These were not
Obviously.
jet-propelled craft. No, this is something completely different. Yep, this is completely different.
So I remember Bob Lazar spoke about entry into Area 51 and S4, about the optic scan and also a hand scan. And this came in from David Adair too, confirming?
This came from David Adair. Now, he said that one of the personnel on this people mover, as they passed this hangar section, the people mover stopped, one personnel got off, he put his hand on a hand scanner, and then there was a retinal scanner, and then off to the left, this large iris opened up, and that's what we want to talk about next. So here's the full color rendering that gives you an idea what this looked like. So you would put your palms and your fingers into this hand scanner. It would read that in conjunction with your retinal scan as well, and that gave you access to the inside of this iris that opened up.
You know, there's a scene in Close Encounters of the Third Kind where they were using this scanner to access some behind the scenes of some of the conversations. It's interesting. Spielberg's must have had some insight to what's really going on. He's coming out with a new movie called Disclosure. I'm sure he's been watching Battle for Disclosure and Asymmetric Disclosure. It's available right now. It's blowing up. Don't forget Asymmetric Disclosure. Amazon, iTunes, Apple TV, and we appreciate everybody watching the groundbreak. It's gonna. Oh, we're at about 400 live watchers. Good to be with everybody from around the world. So it's exciting that we're able to do this live. Micheal Schratt's our guest. We also have his assistant artist who helps him with some of the art. But we're going to be talking to Rudy Gardet in just a bit. But this is what's kind of crazy when you're telling me about this craft that was basically undescribable. Tell me a little bit about this.
Okay, so once the iris opened up, David Adair got access to the interior of a large, well-lit hangar section. Now, there were no light bulbs or fixtures. There were no essentially no shadows in this facility. It had a very strange ambient light within the interior. What he saw on this platform, held up by multiple pogo tripods, so you got this large platform, he said he saw a city bus long, so minimum 70-foot long. This was a extraterrestrial fusion containment engine, something that he had done, but on a much larger scale. Now, the best way to describe this, and it's difficult to describe it, it looks like two octopi making love with the tentacles intertwined into an infinity symbol. It also had the dead, rotting carcass bones of a whale that was rotting and decomposing off onto the beach. Within the bone structure, it looked like the exterior skin of dolphins, and then pumping between all the skin of the dolphins and all the rotting carcass bones of the whale were these veins pumping through all this. So try to get this done in a drawing is not easy.
That doesn't sound conventional.
It doesn't sound conventional.
That sounds ET.
It doesn't sound conventional. And he's at all this, and he's shocked. He actually climbed up on this thing. So
this is right after Adair's gone through this process.
Correct.
To gain access, the spiral door opens and reveals this monstrosity of a craft. According to David Adair, this is what it looked like. Now,
this took 3 months to pin down accurately. This has been confirmed and authorized by David Adair. Here's the platform with the tripod stanchions here. There was a chain link fence that was here. There was a walkway. He talked about that with steps. And then again, you've got all these veins going through this, you could call it octopus infinity symbol. You've got the sections up here that look like bones of a whale. He did gain access to the interior. It was reading his mind. And then he started piecing this together. You guys didn't make this, did you? Where did you get this? He started asking all these questions. There was a confrontation between Arthur Rudolph, the other people there running the project, and David Adair. And that's where there was this big argument, and it could actually read his mind, according to David Adair.
So here's another artist rendition, color version of it. And definitely this has an alien feel to it. This doesn't seem like one of ours. Some of the craft that we're seeing in the sky is obviously deep black budget programs hidden from the public. This, I got a feeling, is one of these ET crafts right there at Area 51. Let's take it inside. I know we have an archive of APRO files. That's what's amazing to me. What's going on with this APRO. It's like a treasure trove of new documents, new information, eyewitness testimony from the military, police, civilian. Congress should get their hands on this. And I hear it's highly protected. If the government, aren't you kind of concerned that the government could come in and swoop this before?
Well, you never know what could happen, but it is a secure facility. I mean, it's badged. There's a camera there. They do have a automated fencing area. So it's not going to be easy to get in. I wouldn't say it's impossible, but it's a secure facility. It is part of the Rio Rancho school system. In fact, the mayor was there to cut the ribbon. So it's been authorized by the school district at Rio Rancho.
Okay, let's bring it on here. What's that? We're just about to hit 500 live watchers on this third phase moon. Brent's behind the camera. We're going to take it into the living room. But again, the importance of these documents.
Right.
And Michael's been doing such great work. The boots on the ground that's been going on. Like I said, this stuff hasn't been seen in almost 40 years, something like that. And this man right here is bringing us history. It's super important. Again, hundreds, if not thousands, 50,000 files the public hasn't seen in 40 years, and this guy's exposing it. So give us a big thumbs up for that. Give this guy a thumbs up, big time. Micheal Schratt deserves it. But okay, let's make make our way over here.
Right.
Go ahead and have a seat.
Okay.
And then let's see if Brent could figure out, maybe we could get some lighting a little close. We're good? Okay.
So
again,
whoa, don't want to. Oops. You want to go through
We're
some
live
of these?
TV, guys.
Yeah, you want to go through some of these?
YouTube. Yeah, let's go through.
All right, so this is an example of what you would find in the file. But, you know, it took months to get here, though. This is an original sketch, and you can see the date is 1950 to 1951. It was 10:30 p.m. Over here, it tells you Newport, Rhode Island. Okay, so you've got this interesting craft. It's got this gold orb or glow around the bottom circumference. There was a flat top to an kind of a low-rise dome, circular porthole windows. And then if you look on the sketch here, you've got these panels and seams and what look like Zeus fasteners, something that you would see on a cowl of a Cessna 172. This is being used back in 1951, 1950 timeframe. Now, I want to bring your attention to his little note over here on the side. Look what he says. Construction look man-made, okay, such as a plane being built. So he doesn't think it's alien.
He's seen something in the sky.
Yes.
He doesn't know what's making it fly. He's never seen a thing fly like this without any means of propulsion, but he says it still looks man-made. But it resembles a typical sports model flying saucer,
It
but
could.
with the port windows. One thing about ARPO, and so how did people even? So this happened in 1950.
This is 1950, 51
1951 or so. What compelled him to submit this to ARPO? How did he even know about this?
Well, people started
program.
finding out that there was such an organization where they could tell their stories because,
It's
less
happening
than
all the time.
Yeah, less than 10% of UFO sightings ever get reported. So when you hear of 100 sightings, there's so many more people out there that saw it, but they just don't want to report it. Now, when ARPO started going in 1952, there was finally a vehicle for people to tell their accounts, and so they started sending these cases in to ARPO.
And 50,000 of them. They got the word out. Was there like a New York Times saying
They had a bulletin that was published monthly, but very few of the cases that were sent in were ever published. So what I'm saying here is what we have in this binder is the best of best of the best of the virgin material that's never been seen before.
Absolutely amazing. Brent's working the camera. How many people are joining us now, Brent?
Yeah, we're staying even at 440 or so.
440. We're about to crack 500 live watchers right here. We're broadcasting from the Hollywood Hills. If you're joining us live, we're here with Micheal Schratt, aerospace historian. He's been recently uncovering the ARPO files that haven't been seen for over 40 years now. New stories, new evidence, new testimony, and let me tell you, it's an archive. It's basically the holy grail of information that was captured from what was it, the 30s to 1980.
Well, they started in 52, they
50.
ended in 88, but the cases were sent in prior to that as well.
Right. What else you got?
Okay, let's do another one. Now, here's an example of what I would find, okay? The criteria that I used is it had to have a detailed drawing. It had to have a sketch. It had to have an illustration.
And some of them are rudimentary sketches.
Yeah.
These guys aren't artists; they're just
Yeah,
eyewitnesses.
yeah, it's a good sketch. It's a good job. It's got to have at least 3-page report and then a flight path. If it satisfied that criteria, I would copy it. So here's an example of what this case looks like. And I've got the date here. This is January 25th, 1969, just south of Platteville, Illinois, at night. We have the woman driving down the car. She's heading northbound. The husband is asleep off to the right-hand side. And then this 30-foot long, high, cone-shaped UFO comes toward their car, tips up at about a 15-degree angle, showing her the bottom. And over here you can see there was a big white light. There was an I-beam, a mechanical, you could call it machine I-beam. And then what happened is very interesting. So I took the original sketch. I redrew this in AutoCAD, cleaning this up so that we can get a good look at this thing.
That's good representation there.
The outer portion of the craft itself looked like the tiles on a roof that you would see right here. The bottom section looked like it had pipes on it. Again, 30 feet high and about 10 feet in diameter. So what happened next is one of the most significant CE2 sightings ever to come across in history. All right, the witness said that when this cone-shaped UFO was next to their car, the entire front portion of the vehicle tipped up and lifted both front wheels off the ground by 3 feet. And they're in there shocked and they couldn't believe what was going on here. So we had to do a full color rendering, and this is what we came up with to preserve an important part of our national history.
Have you guys ever seen this? They call it the ice cream cone UFO, but definitely it has an attribute of, I don't know, reverse engineer, but there's some kind of tractor beam that lifted the vehicle off the ground on the front
Some
front
type
two
of
wheels.
gravity distortion, and I want to give credit to Joel Christopher Payne, who worked with me to get this illustrated.
Yeah, Joel Christopher Payne has worked on some animation for Walt Disney, and he's worked with Spielberg. He's well versed in kind of reverse engineering some of this historic archive. Also, I want to get out here Rudy Gardea. He's working on some art as we speak, and we'll just take it outside. Again, we're live. There's Brent holding the cam. Hey, good job, everybody. Say hi to. We're twins. Our last name is Cousins. We're not cousins. They just call us the Cousins brothers, but we're twins. Anyway, we've got some LAPD helicopter flying over, but let's take it out this way. And we're going to meet up with Rudy Gardea. And right now we're rolling it live. Rudy, you want to bring that over to this table here? And again, we're talking about Area 51, inside Area 51 on this side. Rudy, if you could. And
I'm going to move up. Go ahead. Go ahead.
okay, so we're just about wrapping up the episode, but here's Rudy Gardea. He's the man responsible for some of the incredible artwork. And let me get your microphone real quick, Michael. I'll just pull it, and then I'm going to do a quick switch with the mic, and that's what you call live YouTubing. Rudy, I know you've been working with Micheal Schratt for some years now.
Yes.
And when you're looking at the evidence, I'm sure it's kind of overwhelming because you're doing these recreations.
It's mind-blowing.
Of these, stories over 50, 60 years old, and you're bringing them back to life.
Yeah, we've done over probably close to 200 drawings in the last couple of years. And yeah, every time he brings me a story, it's just one of those shocking things where you're sitting there just trying to contemplate the visual and wondering what the truth is and what the technology is that's going on here. It's pretty amazing. It's been quite a ride.
No, you're just sketching this just while we're just shooting this live. You got it done in about 5 minutes. The typical Ellie and Gray. I know some of these cases that ARPO's been bringing forth they haven't spoke about, been seen by the public for over 40 years. Are you coming up? Is Michael coming up with some stories with regards to these guys?
Yeah, not yet actually. I haven't seen any evidence of the aliens yet. I've gotten 4 of these cases going, but some of the aircraft I've never considered before. An ice cream cone of sorts that was all metallic and self-illuminating from within, glowing, and just shocking to think that, what would you be thinking if you saw that on the road? You're driving out in the middle of nowhere and then all of a sudden...
Oh, I'd be thinking happy thoughts, because we all want to see those things. That's what it's all about. Everybody wants an experience, the UFO phenomenon. Yeah. Speaking of UFO phenomenon, Michael, come here. He's got something that he just shared with us for the first time. You stay right over here.
Okay.
We got a $2 super chat.
All right,
super chat.
N4K4V3L1.
N4K4.
Anything at all?
Does Trump know anything at all? I don't know. Does Trump know anything at all, guys?
I think he knows. He knows.
He must know something, but is he going to give us disclosures? The big question. What do you got there, Michael? I know Michael's been archiving a vast amount of collection. He's got something special. He surprised us today with this.
Yes, so I guess I consider this a world exclusive. And I've been in this crusade for well over 30 years now, looking at cases, going through the archives, boots on the ground, filing, scanning, searching. I put all of my best illustrations together, including the new information from the air profiles. I put it all together in one poster, and this is the final result. This is a world exclusive. I give you the locations, the dates, so you can verify these on your own. A lot of these, most of you know some of these. So this is December 29th, 1980, Huffman, Texas. This is Cash Landrum. If you go over here, you've got the Father Gill case. This whole section here, up here, this is the 1982 to 1989 Hudson Valley boomerang case, where over 25,000 eyewitnesses reported a boomerang-shaped craft March 24th, 1983, over the Taconic State Parkway, where hundreds of people pulled off to the side of the road, were looking up and saw this massive boomerang-shaped craft. This is the Maureen Davis. She was a reference librarian. She saw an 800-foot-long triangular-shaped craft with a circular section on the bottom. Of course, you've got Socorro. This is Lonnie Zamora. I've got 1986 JL 1628. That's the whole JL 1628. This is the Maurice case we talked about. Over here is the Falcon Lake. This is Stephen Mekulik case. It goes on and on, but this is something that's available to the public now. I'm making it very minimal so that people get it. It's $24.95, includes shipping and handling, and it's available now.
Okay, we're going to put the link in the description so you guys can take a look at that. The Legacy, UFO Legacy case files. You want to put this up on your wall, right? You want to look at this every day. You're going to memorize every UFO sighting in this collection, and they really have it all detailed from number 1 to how many files in here?
There's 60 here.
60 individual case files. It's all historical, proper UFO. This is great UFO memorabilia here. You're going to want it. And again, in the link. We're gonna put it in the link. We're gonna put a link in the description to where you could get this. Michael,
great
yeah,
resource.
really
Melissa
amazing.
just gave us a $8 super chat.
We got an $8 super chat. Who did that, Brent?
Melissa.
Melissa gave us an $8 super chat. Wow. You're so awesome, Melissa. Thanks so much. That's great. You know, it's been our pleasure broadcasting live from the Hollywood Hills. We got some more work to do. We're going to be going over some of these hidden gems, the holy grail of information. Michael's just been putting his blood, sweat, and tears recently in New Mexico over there every day, working it. And let me tell you, you're about to be blown away with what comes out of this massive collection, the holy grail. Everybody, keep your eyes on the skies. Be safe. Along with Rudy, appreciate it. Gardea right here, the artist, the investigator, aerospace historian. I don't know. We're just third phase of moon right here. Blake Cousins, Brent's holding the camera. Be safe, everybody. We'll see you next time. Yeah, this is my, let me see, which one's my favorite here?
This is just so cool for people that are
This
just
one.
novices. They can go, okay, and then find it and look it up. Great resource. I blasted it on Facebook and Instagram, and people started chatting in.